What is going on? I am Cole. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Today, I'm excited to go over my most anticipated comics for November 16th, 2022. As I always do, one of the things I like to share every time that I do this is just kind of how I get my information. Uh, Doing here is what I use. I use League of Comic Geeks, as you can see, here. This is what's coming out each week. The reason I use this site is that they kind of have everything here. It'll show some of the variants if you want to look at the variants, but it'll also give you a pretty good rundown. The one reason why I like to lead with this is sometimes things change. Sometimes there might be like, let's say, a delay or something like that. But even sometimes, a book will be on here when I make my list, and then it is no longer there when I go to do it. So, perfect example. I had a book that was not going to make my list this month or this week, I guess. And unfortunately, one of the things that happened was it got moved to tomorrow next week. So I'm actually had to go through and edit. I actually had an extra one. So hey, we can make some changes on the fly for that. But I thought that was kind of interesting that, I always lead with that, and we have a perfect example of that. Um, coming right now. So, one of the things that I like to do is just go ahead and let's talk about some of these comics that are coming out. So, my first pick this week is going to be one that I think everyone should grab this book, right? This is a book I think is a book that I will probably press. And this is The Last Ride of Pillar and Pride. This is John Lees and Joe Mulvey. John Lees is becoming one of my favorite, if not, one of my favorite horror writers. And I'm not really even sure what this book is about. But if John Lees' name is on the title, I have to go ahead and make sure that it is a book that I get. But before I get into this, let's just say hi to the people in the chat. D. Piercy, I know he hit me up. He said, if he's not here when it's live, there's a good chance that he's working out. So if you're working out, I hope that you are getting the results you like. And SCA, thank you for stopping in. And what is going on with you? I've got today off because of Veterans Day. So thank you to all of those who have served. And yeah, I'm going to a Comic Con later today. So it should be a pretty fun filled day off. Yeah, The Last Ride of Pillar and Pride. This is John Lees and Joe Mulvey. John Lees has done books like Hotel, Crimson Cage, which recently came out. And yeah, Joe Mulvey was the illustrator on Happy Hills and a book that I read called The Wailing Blade. And he's got, kind of a cartoony feel. But, this seems like a pretty good book. And I'm really excited. Pretty much it's about, you know, character apparently named Ben and Eli were kids and they did something incredible. They saved a young girl's life and stopped a madman. They were heroes, but that was a long time ago. Now their career as young adult adventure novelists is in decline and their friendship is in similar dire straits. The pair embark on a road trip back to their old childhood town in hopes of mending their relationship. But a new evil has emerged in the town of Terrigan Falls. Can Pillar and Pride be heroes again? Who knows? That sounds pretty fun. I like John Lees, and I have made it a point to get any book that he decides to put out. I normally have kind of mentioned that sometimes with Aftershock stuff, I don't always get it just because it usually seems like if you get into trade, you're usually getting a slightly better deal. But this is a book that I cannot recommend enough just because of the author alone. So I know that I'm going to be picking it up. Let me know if you do too. Hey, what is going on, Comics by the Bay? Thank you for joining us. Reading last week's books this week. So I'll be in the background. All right. Thank you. The next book up that I want to talk about is Batman One Bad Day, Mr. Freeze, #1. I'm still a little bit behind on some of these books. Sorry, my mouth was dry there, so I needed to grab something. But this is I've been getting all of these. This is usually how I do it. I either pick the book if I like the creator team or if I feel like I like the villain, and Mr. Freeze is a villain that I really like. Jerry Duggins is done some good work, but I don't know that I'm 100% in on some of the stuff that he does. But Matteo Scalara, I'm also not super familiar with, but You know what? I figured this is a book that I'm still going to pick up. I love these. These are a little bit more expensive than your standard comic book, but they are 64 pages, which is definitely a lot bigger, loosely double the size. And while I can't, always recommend these for everyone, I figure if you like Batman and you like the villain that is on here, it's worth checking out. Hey, what is going on, D. Piercy? Did you end up working out? Hopefully, as I said earlier, I hope you got the results that you wanted while you were working out. But that is my second number one for this week, and it is Mr. Freeze number one bad day. This is the final number one, and this one is it's weird because this is considered a number one. It is Demon Wars Shields of Justice, but I don't necessarily think that this is a number one. The bummer with the Peach Momoko stuff is that it seems that they're all titled the number one, and they all seem to sort of be one shots. But I would say that I would recommend checking out all the other ones. I love Peach Momoko's art. I know that it is kind of a topic that, some people hate her art, some people love her art. I personally enjoy it, and I think that it fits perfect for these stories that she's telling. If you are unfamiliar with these Demon War stories, they're loosely like, I think, like a Japanese fable style storytelling for some of the Marvel characters. I know the first one's kind of focused really big on like X-Men, but yeah, this is it. Um, it looks like we're going to see some Captain America. I don't know who the person in the middle is supposed to be. But if you do, let me know. I know that, we've seen a lot of great stuff. It looks like Iron Samurai um, and his spider-like ally. So maybe there's going to be a spider character in this one, but I really have enjoyed these. The art alone for me is worth the price of admission, and I can get why some people might not be into that art, but I think they're fun. Is she the greatest comic book author of all time? No, but have all of these books been enjoyable for me? Heck yeah. And I think they're worth it. Some people might not like it, but I think it is pretty good. So, speaking of D. Piercy, who is still on the bike, mind you, thank you for, hopefully I can give you the energy you need to push through those final reps of spinning your bike. But if you were here last week, you saw that Dan actually joined me. And today I have a new person joining me. So I'm going to have them jump on right now. This is actually a video. They're not actually jumping on as we speak, but I'm going to have this video jump on and we'll let them introduce themselves.
I want to give a big thank you to Cole over at Cole's Comic Claims for inviting me onto his show to share my pick of the week for New Comic Book Day coming up on November 16th, 2022. First, let me tell you a little bit about my channel. I go by the name The Pull List Examiner, and that's what I do every week. I record a short video that examines my pull list of all the comics I'm looking forward to reading for the week, and I share that pull list, but specifically on my video, I share my top 3 choices of that I am looking forward to reading. So, without further ado, my number 1 comic for the week of November 16th is going to be Nightwing, issue number 98. If you haven't kept up with this Tom Taylor run, you are missing out. It has been an amazing run. I actually say that it rivals most of the Bat books that are out there. There's a lot of DC comics that revolve around Batman, but right now this is probably the best Batman related title there is. Tom Taylor and combined with Bruno Ridaldo doing the art has just been absolutely phenomenal. And there's this new villain called Heartless that's been introduced, and I think we're going to find out more as we near this 100th issue that's coming up. But really, this has been a great series. If you haven't picked it up, I would recommend it. And once again, thanks to Cole for inviting me on to share my pick of the week.
And thank you for joining me. So that is once again the Pull List Examiner. I know that I have shouted him out a few times on here because I go and watch his video that he does weekly because he has a similar style to what I do, going forward. Excuse me. And I actually got the idea that I kind of have been adding these. Should you cut it? Should you not? I took that specifically from his videos. So I have a link to his channel down below. If you are here watching it, make sure you go up and sub him up. And yeah, if you watch one of his videos, just let him know, hey, Cole sent me. I saw him from there. Hey, what is up? And good morning, Steve. I hope you are doing well. Are you working today or do you have the day off? I know that I do. And yeah, so let's get to the yeah, and one other thing that I wanted to say was that I actually am kind of catching up on a lot of the books that I read. So I'm excited. Nightwing and Detective Comics are two of the runs that I'm kind of behind on that I was planning on doing next. So I think with that recommendation of Nightwing, I might try and catch up on Nightwing so I can hopefully read that. Hey, what is going on, Zach? I hope you are having a wonderful day. And hey, do you have the day off too? Because I know that I do. But let's get into here. Let's get into the next book. This is a book that I have talked about a lot, and this is going to make my my list next week probably too. And it is Orc Island #2. I've already read Orc Island. Or sorry, this is issue #3. Bad Idea is back, and while I know a lot of people hate what they're doing and hate some of their marketing stuff, I have really enjoyed this book. I am glad that they're back. You know, no matter what, the quality of comic book that is coming out from Bad Idea has been solid. All the backup stories for me have been pretty enjoyable so far. Last issue we had one from Matt Kent and his wife, and they had a pretty fun little story about a seahorse. And it, you know, maybe it will make you smile. But Orc Island has been pretty cool. They kind of have gotten to the island. They've gotten some of these orc skulls that are going to win them a ton of money when they get back. But hey, they just got the biggest skull, and it looks like something is going to maybe be kind of weird. So I'm excited for that. If you haven't already seen on Instagram, I have been pushing hard to make the Bad Idea fan cup, and I'm going to continue to do so because I really like Bad Idea, and it would be really funny if they gave me a scepter and a crown and a little robe and came to my comic shop. I would enjoy that. But hey, congratulations on your day off, Steve. I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you get some time to yourself to read some comics. And I kind of recommend, or I kind of talked about how from Pull List Examiner's video that I have been talking about books that I cut and that I have been trying to keep. And this is one of them that I was going to mention. So this was actually set up for 6, but as I mentioned in the very beginning of this video, one of the books has been pushed back a week. So I had an extra one, and I was going to say that I'm going to keep this book on the pull list, A Legacy of Violence. This is written by Cullen Bunn with art from Andrea Muddy or Moody. I don't know how to pronounce their last name, and sorry about that. But the first issue of this was completely creepy and very good. I really loved it. And Mad Cave is putting out a pretty awesome horror book here. I know that a lot of people have said that they might be getting a little bit of Cullen Bunn fatigue because it just seemed like that dude released so many books in such a short period of time. Excuse me. And while I might agree with that, I think this one has been totally solid. It has only been one issue, but it was an issue that I thought was very solid, and I am definitely going to keep up with this book. You know, maybe I'm not going to. I'm not sure still. I haven't made the idea 100% if I'm going to be pulling all of the floppies or if I'm just going to read this. Yeah, a little bunned out. Yeah, that's a good one. And hey, welcome, Zars84. But yeah, you know, as I said, I really like this book. The first issue was great. It just was creepy enough, and it's got enough in there to keep a story that I'm probably going to read this. You know, at worst case, I'm going to still read this in digital. As I've been trying to cut back, I've been trying to keep a little bit. Move stuff to digital only just to kind of help. But I thought that this issue was a great first issue, and there were actually a lot of #1s that are coming out this week of books that I kind of recommended. I know too. Last week I had talked about The Vineyard, and that book is actually coming out this week instead. So GCPD issue 2, I never ended up getting issue 1 of that because at the end of the day, I think I got behind on my comics, and I didn't know that I wanted to invest into that book. I figure I'm going to try and get some stuff on DC UI. So hopefully that is a book that I can get there. I'm trying to go through here real quick and figure out, because I think that there was another one that I saw that I recommended that I also thought that I might put on here, but then I kind of had forgot because I'm just scrolling through slowly. But yeah, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about as much as I originally thought that I did. But, you know, that's it. Those have been the books that I'm going to pick up this week. So for those of you who came in here a little bit late and for those on the rewind, I just figure I'm going to quick do a nice little recap. Oh, that's what it was. The other book was 10,000 Black Feathers, but that's issue number 3. So apparently I missed issue number 2 at some point, but I really liked that first issue. So first book, we're going up with The Last Ride of Pillar and Pride. This is John Lees and Joe Mulvey. And if there was one book that I'm going to tell everyone who's watching this video that maybe they should go and invest in, I think this is that book. It's probably not going to have crazy spec stuff, but John Lees is becoming one of my favorite horror writers. And I can't say anything but positive things about this. So I think this is a book that is worth checking out. And at worst case, read the blurb over at League of Comic Geeks, and maybe it'll be for you. I've also got Batman One Bad Day, Mr. Freeze. I know that there's also some Batman fatigue, but I have enjoyed these one shots as they mostly focus on the villain as opposed to a new Batman story. We've got Demon Wars, Shield of Justice from Peach Momoko. I've been loving these, and I know her art isn't for everyone, but I have thoroughly enjoyed it. We have Orc Island, issue number 3 from Bad Idea. This is Josh Dysett and Alberto Ponticelli, and I have been loving these. The backup stories are fantastic, and yeah, hopefully I become Bad Idea's biggest fan. And A Legacy of Violence, some Colin Bunn action with Andrea Moody over at Mad Cave Studios. So, as I always like to say, oh, hey, what is going on? Second Street Marvel, thank you for stopping in. Hey, Flo Dameron, how are you doing? Thank you for stopping in. If you haven't checked out, Flo does a YouTube channel called the Bada Boom Podcast. They just recently had the writer of Flash and the Super Sons animated show. I'd say go recommend checking that out. Yeah. You forgot frozen food in the car for the past half hour. What? That feeling? Oh, yeah. But those are the books that I'm really looking forward to. Once again, it is still delayed again. Interesting. Yeah, I know that it was supposed to come out last week. I saw that it was here this week. So bummer that it is still delayed. But hey, that is a book that I am really looking forward to. So hey, thank you for that live update. As I said, when I go over League of Comic Geeks, sometimes all their information isn't 100%, but that is just kind of the trouble. So once again, if you guys have something that you use to check every single week what books are coming out, I would love to hear it, because League of Comic Geeks occasionally has given some wrong information. And I think it's just because, once again, delays and updates and weird stuff. I know Previews doesn't have everything in it, so I don't love using that either. But yeah, if you guys have some recommendations, I'd love to hear it. And please let me know what you're looking forward to this week. Is there something you're excited to read? Is there something that you just love the cover for? Or hey, who knows? Let me know what you have. Let me know if you thought any of my picks were wrong. And just, let me know down below. I love to hear what other people are reading, what they love about comics, because that's one of my favorite things about this. So I've been going on way longer than I normally do. But I just wanted to go and do this live. I had some time off and I thought I'd get a little bit more in depth with it. So once again, I have been Cole. For everyone that was here on the live with me, thank you for being here. And everyone else on the rewind, thank you for stopping by. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button on your way out. As always, I have been Cole, and peace.